I heard this piece of advice circulating around the internet forever ago, and people are still saying it, and that's that so many people have the opportunities that you want just because they tried. Not because they're necessarily better than you or they have more knowledge or experience than you, they just did it. So sometimes I'm like, I don't need to be the best, I just need to do it, right?
Welcome to Cyber Chats, a podcast made by the National Cryptologic Foundation. I'm your host, Kennedy Taylor, and together we'll be demystifying the world of cybersecurity by talking with amazing cyber enthusiasts like you, as well as industry professionals. Be sure to like and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast platform. Welcome back, Cyber Chats. Today we have an awesome guest for you. You may remember her from 3 years ago when she came and talked about girls who hack. BiaSciLab, otherwise known as Bianca Lewis. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, I'm so glad to be back. It's crazy. It's been 3 years. It feels both longer and shorter than that at the same time. So,
Oh, I bet. So 3 years ago, you were still in high school, right?
yes, I was.
So where are you now? Are you currently studying something?
Yeah, I graduated high school when I was 16, which I know is a little bit earlier than most, but I hate to be bored, I guess. And I am currently in college working towards a degree in cybersecurity. I do it online because I travel so much for work, but it's been pretty awesome getting to learn at my own pace and take notes on my own time.
Oh yeah, I feel like you could teach some of the classes at this point.
Some of the content I have seen before, but I am happy to say that I am actually learning some new things.
Good. So you're on a cybersecurity track, and do you know what's next? Are you planning to get a master's in anything? Or just a lot of our listeners are currently trying to figure out how to navigate their educational path in college and even beyond. So if you have any insights from your experience thus far, I think that'd be helpful for them.
Of course. From what I've seen, heard, and learned, when you want to work in the cybersecurity space or the tech space in general, number one, a degree definitely helps. It's a requirement for a lot of positions, at very least a bachelor's, which is the first one I'm working towards. And on top of that, the next biggest thing is getting a bunch of certificates. Every certificate you can possibly get within the category you want to work in. For me, currently, I still want to continue in my educating journey. I want to continue teaching cybersecurity through my nonprofit and through other groups. So I'm looking into some different certificates surrounding that general area.
Amazing. Well, good luck to you in school. We'll definitely be
Thank
cheering you on as you get closer to graduation. All
you.
right,
I
now
know it's scary.
no, thinking about girls who hack, which you started, many years ago now at this point, I'd love to give, could you give an overview of girls who hack and also where are you now? Where are you now, 3 years later, even since you were first on the podcast? How has the program evolved?
Ooh, okay. So I started Girls Who Hack, which is my nonprofit where I teach girls around middle school, high school age essential cybersecurity skills when I was 14 years old. I'm 19 now for reference. So yeah, it's been like 3, 4-ish years. When we first began, my mission was just to make as much of an impact as I possibly could within this space. I remember when I was around that age trying to learn cybersecurity skills, all the classes and all the content I found online and in person were usually taught by men, predominantly attended by men, and were awfully boring. If I'm being frank, they were so boring. And I wanted to change that and create a space where girls like me could meet other like-minded girls and be able to collaborate and learn cybersecurity skills. Since I started Girls Who Hack, I've had thousands of students, which is it's just mind-blowing, like to think that many girls have
Wow.
seen my content, and quite a few of them have gone on to college cybersecurity programs like me, or to join clubs related to robotics and tech, or join competitions like Capture the Flag cybersecurity competitions, and just seeing the actual direct impact I'm having on these girls' lives is I can't comprehend it.
That's incredible. And, I'm a woman in cybersecurity, so I can absolutely relate. There are not nearly enough women in the field. And I think when we find other women in cyber, in my world at least, we hold on to each other.
Yeah,
So
you
it's great
flock
that,
together for dear life.
exactly. I love that you're building this community so early because the girls will always have each other too as they grow through to eventually have careers in cyber.
Yeah, I'm trying my best because even though we are getting a lot more equal when it comes to women and men in the tech field, I mean, I'm seeing a lot more women at conferences and such. I think at least with my generation, that's less so. Most women and girls, and I'm not sure what your journey was like, tend to join later on in life. It isn't their main path that they want to begin with in high school or in middle school, and they eventually join in later. But I want to show that it's an option early on as well.
And for you, it was an option early on.
It was. Thankfully, my father has always worked in technology, and when he saw that I was absolutely addicted to programming in Scratch and playing with Arduino when I was a kid, he dragged me along to a few different conferences, and I just fell in love with the space. And I'm like, not everyone has a dad or a parent in tech, or even one that's engaged enough to bring them to these conferences. I want to be like that parent in a way.
That's amazing. And, thousands of girls can thank him for getting you into this space because clearly you've made such a big impact.
Aw, thanks.
Now, in terms of your program, walk me through the day to day. And if, those listening want to join or somehow, work with you, how can they go about doing that?
Ooh, of course. Most of our content is in-person classes, and I do them all around the United States. Sometimes I've done them in collaboration with other groups, such as different communities, libraries, maker spaces. I've taught Girls Who Hack classes at conferences, mostly tech conferences, women conferences. So if you have a group like that, reach out to me. You can find all my info on Girls Who Hack on basically any social media platform, let's be honest, and girlswhohack.com. As for my day to day with my company, there's quite a bit going on behind the scenes naturally that I take care of, but the fun part is the actual classes, whether they're online or in person. I prefer in person because it's just easier to connect and more fun that way. I like to have a good day camp structure. So I like to do 4 classes around 45 minutes each that cover some really cool topics in cybersecurity. Things that you won't be able to find anywhere else, such as lock picking, soldering,
Hmm,
hacking using a terminal, all of these super cool skills that you don't really see, especially in a school classroom.
really cool. I love lock picking.
Yay! I'm so happy to hear that. It's literally like doing a puzzle in the dark. It's so satisfying.
For those listening who may have attended Cyber Saturday, Bianca was there. She taught a workshop. So definitely hope that we can have her back, but glad that you work with the National Cryptologic Foundation and TAC, often.
Oh, NCF is just so great. I've always been a part of this community and this group ever since I was very little and always obsessed with the basics of what you do, like the coding and the ciphers and cryptography. The class that I did for you guys on Cyber Saturday, and if you haven't gone to Cyber Saturday, this is your sign to sign up for the next one. But I did teach a ciphers and codes workshop, so we encrypted and decrypted secret messages, learned how the military used it in the past, how it was the foundations of encryption we use nowadays in computers. It's just so insane a topic, and people don't even know how it works or why it exists.
Yeah, it's so cool and being so close to NSA and even, the National Cryptologic Museum. It's very cool that you were able to teach that.
One of my favorite museums ever. I remember begging my parents to take me as a kid, and we took a road trip to Maryland just to go see it.
That's awesome. All right, shifting gears a bit because tell us what you do with DEF CON.
Ooh, yes. Oh, I'm so excited. DEF CON, one of the world's largest hacker conferences, happens in August every year in Las Vegas, Nevada. Thankfully, it's indoors, or else we would be sweltering from the heat. About 40,000 hackers, this year it's going to be more than 40,000 hackers, come into this space to learn with each other, grow, attend different talks and what we call villages. So there's like a car hacking village and an aerospace village about all the different types of cybersecurity branches. I actually run one of those villages, and it is the official DEF CON youth track called DC Next Gen. So we provide youth attending the conference with their own content, crafted just for them.
Wow.
We get into some pretty cool stuff. We have our own electronic badge, over 300 kids, which is a huge number if you really think about it. But my favorite part is that we collaborate with other groups and villages around the conference because one of my pet peeves is that a lot of cons that have youth initiatives and youth tracks just keep the kids all in one room and expect them to have fun. But the best part of a conference is getting to walk around and explore. So by collaborating with these villages to have youth content of their own, they have something specially crafted and created for them all around the conference as well.
Wow, that's really cool. And sounds like, that experience would vary depending on which village they collaborate with.
Definitely. For example, I mentioned the aerospace village. They had this really cool challenge last year where you had to hack a Lego airplane and get it to fly off course. So they actually crafted a Lego airplane with like motors and spinning propellers, and you had to hack it to get it to move a different way. Absolutely insane. And another village did a challenge where you had to trick an AI chatbot into giving you personal information, which was super cool too, because a bunch of websites have those helpful chatbots, but those can be manipulated as well. So getting them to try all these crazy different experiences definitely gives them great stories to tell at school.
Yeah, and how relevant is that? That's really awesome. What's the age range for the kids that attend?
Our age range is aimed mostly at about 11 to 18 years old, ideally, because some of our stuff gets more technical. But we've had kids as young as like 6 or 7 participate as well and still get something out of it and still are able to complete some challenges, maybe with a little help sometimes. But I think that attests to the fact that our content is for everyone. We've had kids there that are so technical, they literally work jobs in cybersecurity and they thought our content was awesome. So it wasn't boring, thank goodness.
No, that's amazing. And I think you mentioned speaking at DEF CON and at other related conferences. What's the
Yeah.
topic you usually speak about?
Ooh, let's see. My first
You're like everything so far.
Yeah. My first job ever in cybersecurity was public speaking, and I still public speak at all different sorts of conferences. I've spoken at Black Hat MIA, which is Middle East Africa, which happens in Saudi Arabia. I've spoken at Def Camp in Romania. I've spoken all around the US. The main topics I cover, um, naturally, I've covered education, youth in tech, woman in tech, those sorts of things. But my personal passion project has always been election security. Um, there's a whole different stigma around election security that I really want to break down because if you think about it, elections don't have to be political. There is politics in elections, obviously, but if you strip away personal preferences and opinions, let's look at the actual structures. What are the voting methods? Is it online? How does the in-person voting work? And how can we better secure this? Because it doesn't matter which party you're affiliated with, everyone deserves the most free and fair election possible. Um, Other than the actual voting process itself, one of the biggest negative impacts on the election space is naturally AI, deep fakes, these sorts of things. And AI is a lot less of a new threat. Everyone's like, oh, AI is the new threat, but it's more of a threat amplifier because it just makes the jobs of scammers or people spreading fake news even easier. They just have to open ChatGPT and prompt it to create a fake image of some politician doing something they shouldn't be doing, or to write an entire news article about something that is incorrect or false and make it sound legitimate. The bar for entry with criminals and scammers is very, very low, lower than it was before, making everything a lot harder to manage.
Especially now with AI. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, it's
Well,
quite scary.
you're absolutely right. Especially you mentioned how you're focused on the structures involved in voting. And every time I vote, I'm always like, is this really what we're using right now?
Yeah.
This archaic, machine. How can we make sure that this is, safe and secure for Americans? So it's really cool that you were able to work on that and starting so young. How old were you when you started, working on that? And I know you secure vote was something that you were focused on for a while.
Ooh, yeah. As you know, I'm 19, so I've been able to legally vote for 1 year and a few months now, which has been fun. But I've been interested in election security since I was about 12 years old, I would say. And the reason behind that is actually DEF CON. DEF CON, before it had DC Next Gen years ago, they had a different youth initiative called the Roots Asylum, and that's what I grew up on. And they held a mock election reporting system that us kids got to go and try to hack to change the vote count. At that point, I knew nothing about elections. I don't even think I knew really who the president was at that time. I mean, I was 12. For me, elections and politics was just one of those things adults talked about at the Thanksgiving table, and you had to like block your ears as they yelled across the table. But actually getting to experience a part of the election system myself at that age and taking a good look at it and being like, I barely know how to hack and I hacked this, I started to get a little worried. And since then, I've just been trying to show that it is possible to create a free, open, fair, and actually up to date election system that can empower everyone to feel safe that their vote actually matters and is being counted.
How did you feel going through the process last year for the first time?
Ooh, voting for the first time. So, because of some traveling, I did a mail-in ballot, which is also a fun experience. So, they mail you this little sheet, and it has some instructions, and you get to read a little bit about it. Then you just check the box of who you want to vote for, and naturally, I looked up all the people ahead of time. I did some research. This was for a local election. And I was able to, seal up that little envelope and send it out. And I was just like, I'm an adult now. This is weird.
You sure are an adult.
Oh, jeez. Oh, do I really look that old? I'm gonna have to get Botox soon.
No.
Thank goodness.
All right. So I just want to clarify. So BiaSciLab, is that a separate organization or is that I'll say the frame for Girls Who Hack?
Ooh, BiaSciLab. So, this is actually something interesting that I'm happy you brought up because I'd love to talk about it. Um, I am a hacker. I'm an ethical hacker, so don't worry, not all hackers are bad, I promise. And a big part of hacker culture that developed at the start of naturally when computers were a thing is, especially in the beginning, us hackers wanted to remain anonymous. Less so for nefarious reasons, which obviously some bad actors and hackers and groups do that, but more so for our own privacy and to have our own identity. There's so many cool hacker names out there that I've heard before. A lot of them have to do with nicknames people have gotten over the years of just crazy things they've done. For me, I gave myself my nickname, or my hacker name, as people call it, which is BiaSciLab. I've created it sort of my personal brand, and even though I do share my full personal name online, it sort of ties me to a real hacker identity. BiaSciLab is camel case, as you can see, which means the first letter of each word is uppercase. And Bia is short for Bianca, because that's my name. Sci is short for science, because I used to be, and I still am, absolutely obsessed with science and like Bill Nye the Science Guy. And then lab as in laboratory, because hello, cool science lab to do stuff in. And some of the first things I did related to just STEAM in general, looking back at science fairs and stuff, I thought it would be fun to tie that into my own personal name. And now I've sort of used that as my professional work name, sort of how like rappers and singers have fake names that they identify with.
Got it. Thank you for clarifying. That's a very cool hacker name.
Thank you, I appreciate it. We'll have to get you one if you don't have one yet.
Yes, we will. All right. So, one thing I want to talk about, because you mentioned you've spoken at many different conferences, we're talking today, and I can obviously tell that you're very confident and you're so young, right, to be doing all the incredible things that you're doing. Where does your confidence come from? Or, what can you go ahead and tell those listening if they're feeling a little afraid of speaking in public? Or a lot of people in cyber, as you know, don't have the opportunity to speak, especially not on a platform like yours. So, how can they feel more confident to go ahead and share, whether it's their findings in their day-to-day job or help volunteer and get more people involved in cyber?
As you can tell, I am a very outgoing and energetic person, yes. And I have always been this way. However, even after years and years of speaking, and I think the biggest crowd I've ever spoken in front of was about like 10,000 people, I always still get the butterflies in my stomach, and I still get jittery, sweaty palms, which is very annoying. It's a human reaction to be scared, However, there are a few things that have helped me a lot with speaking, public speaking, speaking on stage, and here are my main points of advice, since I've had years of experience doing this. Number one, create a personal brand for yourself. If you think of your favorite celebrities, whether it be like a pop culture icon or something, Ariana Grande, Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift, whoever it may be, they have some unique, special things about their personality or the way they speak or the way they carry themselves. You have to sort of figure out your own identity and create yourself like your own personal brand. For example, I'm BiaSciLab. I am bubbly, I'm bright, I'm energetic, I'm passionate, and as long as I stay to those core things, it works out pretty well for me. Advice number two, be absolutely delusional. I heard this piece of advice circulating around the internet forever ago, and people are still saying it, and that's that so many people have the opportunities that you want just because they tried. Not because they're necessarily better than you or they have more knowledge or experience than you, they just did it. So sometimes I'm like, I don't need to be the best, I just need to do it, right? On top of that, I've always been into acting. I'm a theater kid. I feel like that's kind of obvious just by how I carry
I love
myself.
that.
If you want more stage confidence, try improv, try theater, and even just try it in your own home. A very short little story about something to also help people practice public speaking. There's this super fun game show hosted by one of my friends, hacker friends, Rando, at DEF CON. And it's called Whose Slide Is It Anyway? And it's a play on the old show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? Which is a great show everyone should watch as well. And the premise of the game show is that you go up on stage and you get a random slide deck. This random slide deck you have never seen before. And it can be corporate, it can be funny, it can be silly, it could have just photos of beans on it. You don't know what's going to be on this slide deck, but you have to make a presentation about it on the spot on stage. So you go on stage and you talk about a topic, but you don't know what's on the next slide. And being able to do that, and I've played that game show before and won one year, just allows you to learn how to flow about any topic. So sometimes when I need to warm up to go on stage, instead of just sitting there like red leather, yellow leather, I will tell myself a random word or a random topic like shaving cream. And then in my head, I have to give a presentation about shaving cream. And just in my own mind, I'm thinking, what would I say about shaving cream? What are the important parts of shaving cream? What about the downsides of shaving cream? What do I think of the shaving cream industry? And just doing something fun and random like that allows you to understand the flow of your own mind and the flow of your own words and structure it in a way that people can resonate with and listen to.
That's awesome. That sounds like a really fun game.
I highly recommend.
So thank you so much for that advice. Yeah, people need help speaking. So I think that's really cool. And I'm also a theater kid, so I love that about you.
Yay! Theater kids unite.
All right, as we think about next steps, what's next for BiaSciLab? What's next for Girls Who Hack? You know, what do we have to cheer you on for in the near future?
There's so many passion projects I want to continue on, and I need more than 24 hours in a day. If I could have like even just 30 hours, I would highly appreciate it. Some of the things I definitely want to do, and this is what's on my list. Number one, I want to start an official YouTube channel. I would love to make videos talking more about what I do, why I do it, different topics in cybersecurity, women in tech, and also just different things like public speaking, because I get asked a lot for advice on these things, and why not put it all in one place? Another passion project I want to start is a blog, especially for Girls Who Hack, where I can interview different women in the tech field or women entrepreneurs to gain advice for young women in the field who will come to my platform. And overall, just expanding my outreach, doing more, joining more conferences. While also trying to keep myself from burning out, because I am still a student. Still have to focus on college, still have to keep my 4.0, and I still have friends, I still have a social life, so continuing to find that balance while also finding time for my passions, like I mentioned.
As someone who has a lot going on, I can say it doesn't always get easier, but it does get better, as they say.
Thank goodness, that makes me feel a lot better.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was great catching up with you. And please let us know when you've gone ahead and launched, any of the things, the YouTube channel. We'd love to promote it and share it with our audience.
Thank you for having me again. Hopefully I'll be here in the next 1, 2, 3 years again, and we can catch up and sort of follow my journey. Maybe one day I'll be in like the nursing home and you'll still be interviewing me when I'm like 80 and still seeing what I'm doing.
I think I would be in the nursing home at that point too, but
we'll be nursing home buddies.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Great catching up. Thanks for tuning in. We hope this conversation sparked your curiosity and got you excited about the world of cybersecurity. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with fellow cyber enthusiasts. Have a question or a topic you'd love us to explore? Connect with us on CyberChat's podcast page and join the conversation. Until next time, stay curious and keep the cyber chats going.